Hey Tim, look at this.
Needs work.
Hey Tim, how about this?
Still needs work.
Darn it. How about this?
Nice, high five.
Hey there everybody, how's it going?
My name's Tim.
And my name's Michael.
And you're watching the TMI show.
That's the Tim and Michael Information Show. And today we're talking about taking a break. This came up.
Important.
This came up
So
after we were doing the recording for the last episode, and it had actually just occurred to me that it had been a while since Tim and I had actually sat down and
Good 2 or
got to
3
record.
weeks, actually.
Oh,
Yeah,
was it really? It felt like longer.
probably.
To me, it felt like months because
There's so much in there.
There was way too much that had been going on, and we were kind of like, can we not? But it's only 2 or 3. Gosh, it felt like so long.
Yeah.
Which I guess it's good if you guys have found that there's certain projects you like working on, and whenever you take a break from the project, you're like, it's been too long. Maybe you're
I
enjoying
missed
the
this.
process. Yeah, I missed this. And that's what I was saying after we finished recording the last episode. Like every piece of art, I think there are some that you're going to really like, and I think there's others that you're going to be like, well, I struggled with that one. Tim and I have been figuring out this show thing as we've been going through it, and I really liked how the last one felt.
Yeah.
I don't know how you felt. You could have thought it was horrible. But
I think we said some good things.
yeah, I did too, and it's funny because there was a point where we were saying, like, what are we going to talk about, and this and that, but this time around, before prepping anything, I just said we're going to talk about this. In the same episode, we haven't really talked about what we're going to talk about other than taking a break.
And it just rolled.
Yeah, and I think taking a break off of the show really kind of helped me reboot in my head. Like, what was the whole point of what we were doing this?
Yeah.
Because I had a meeting with some of the writers over the break, and Tiffany, she's so sweet. She says, "Could you just like record yourself talking and like get 1 million views?" I'm like, well, I don't know about that. I have a show right now.
We're getting there. Tell your friends.
And again, I was thinking, gosh, like, what's the core of it that we're doing? So in that aspect, the break helped. But what that helped me think about was last episode we were talking about, giving yourself equal time. I think there are just some times where I also need to take a break. And there's always a point in life, and it is around this time of the year, where I need a week. I need a week to just unwind and just shut it off for just a solid 7 days, maybe 6. There's some days I still pick up the guitar in between and just not do it. Marshall talked to us about, like, after, CTN, needs to find a quiet place, to just, process and unwind. And I need that. And so I don't know if there's any times that you take breaks for yourself after you've been working a lot, or if you're just ongoing, or if your breaks are different, because that's how I take my break. It needs to be a solid week of me just unwinding and not thinking.
Right. Well, my breaks are a little more they're not quite as lengthy, but they are a bit more frequent.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll kind of take breaks throughout the day. Usually if I'm working and I need to go have lunch, I'll sit down and eat lunch while I read a book or watch a TV show and just kind of decompress. I think if
Decompress.
I were to,
yeah, it's a good word.
you kind of let all that tension that's up in your head from doing this all day just drain out. I think if I was to not do anything artistic for a week, I would go crazy after like 2 days. All Christmas vacation, I kept doing family things and seeing the family and going to see movies. I was Frozen again. Wah!
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. I had a fantastic time, but at the same time, I kept thinking, man, I want to start drawing again and start painting and getting some sketches out. But taking a break is definitely important.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people, I think especially people our age, who they kind of do the math and say, well, gosh, I want to be an artist in the industry, and to be an artist in the industry, you have to be good, and to be good, you have to just keep drawing. So the more and more I draw, the faster and faster I draw, then the closer and closer I get to having that dream job in the industry, which is, of course, true. But it's not a straight marathon. You can't just freight train your way over there. I think you do have to definitely give yourself a breather.
Yeah, and I think it's funny because and you mentioned the intermittent, and then there's that little voice where you're just like, gosh, I should really get back to this. It is hard for me. It's hard for me to not doodle, not draw, or not sketch, not play. But I will say that I'm definitely immersing myself in some sort of creative form as far as taking it in, whether that's playing a game And I mean, I usually play story-based adventure games that that are really dramatic. Like I just finished Arkham Origins. Wow, what a breathtaking ride that was! It really was. Even if you're not a Bat fan. So
Sorry.
I know it's great. I was thinking it in my head, or the Elfman version.
There you go.
And but there are times I need to tell myself, just stop, don't edit, don't do this, don't do that. Like you need to just, otherwise I feel the exhaustion. So but again, Brian's thing about letting the ball roll.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to find different things for yourself, and it is important to decompress. It's a word that we had heard, a couple times from Marshall, is to just decompress, because you can't, keep going like this. This train that just keeps going. It has to stop at some point.
Right.
Otherwise you're going to run out of steam, and that's no fun. So. That's kind of what I wanted to say. I mean, and also, I mean, I don't know if any of you feel like, oh, is it bad if I take a break?
It's good.
Yeah.
No, it's not just good, it's necessary. I think it's very necessary.
But didn't you feel that voice that's in, like, you should be working?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that part of you that you might feel guilty about, that says, like, oh,
there is a part of me that used to feel that.
Used to.
Mm-hmm.
You move beyond.
Well, I'll kind of explain that, and I think it is part of all of us. I remember seeing this painting that this girl did in one of my classes of this just weary-eyed, dreary man with this crazy hair, and the title of the painting was "Sleeping is Giving In," and it just brings forth this idea of, we need to push ourselves to the limits and keep drawing and keep painting and get ourselves better. And again, yes, to an extent, but and to that cause, our brains always tell us, don't take a break, you got to keep going. I found after time that I believe it is necessary to take breaks. Mentally, yes, you need to give yourself time to reset. But what I've also found after having drawn for a couple of years is that in drawing, let's see if I can word this the right way, this is going to be tricky. In drawing, draftsmanship, the actual drawing itself, after a while it kind of becomes secondary. And great drawing, great art is not about putting the pencil on the paper or putting the brush on the canvas. It's about this great romance between you and your subject, and falling in love with the train you're sketching, or this flower you're doing, or this character you're creating. It's about loving on whatever it is that you're drawing or painting. And when you just marathon draw, it gets so easy to get caught up in the lines and the strokes and the pencils and whatnot. And you need to give yourself time to kind of breathe and rediscover the world and rediscover your subject and rediscover what you're doing. Get lost in your subject matter. If you're creating a world, go, look through some books or go explore the actual environment that you are trying to recapture on the canvas. If you're drawing an elven forest, go find a real forest and pals around in it, and remember why you love the forest. Because not only is that going to drive you to make your paintings better or your drawings better, that is going to inform what you're drawing. It is so key to take those breaks to kind of refresh yourself on what you're creating.
If I can suggest a new title for this episode, if I may, I'd say it'd be "Taking a Break and Sleep." Because hearing you talk, it just occurred to me that's another thing. Like, especially people our age. I think I've been hearing it all this time, and I got really tired of it eons ago. Oh, I didn't get enough sleep. Oh my gosh, I haven't slept at all. I'm like, and somebody said to me the other day when they were like, wow, no sleep for you. It was when I was directing, and I said, oh no, I sleep. You better believe I sleep, because I will not function. Sarah Brightman said she needs to get about, I forget how many hours, like, was it like, 10 to 12 after she sings, because of like, she needs to let her voice recuperate. And so I was like, wow. And
voice and body and mind.
Yeah,
everything.
Mela was one who was telling me about that, and she said, like, she says, I full-heartedly agree, so you guys need to sleep. You and I guess that also filters into time management. So,
I guess so.
And I mean, that's a very short point of me to make, but like, taking a break is one thing, but you also need to sleep, because you're just not going to function. The body was not meant to do that thing, and it's scary, because then we have all of these like double shots and 5-hour energy. I never touch heavy stuff.
It really is true. It's really tempting to deceive yourself and say, Well, I'm not an athlete. This isn't like, a physical sport. It's not that physically taxing to move the pencil on the page. It's all head work. I don't have to sleep as much.
But
Well,
your
yes,
brain
you
is a
do.
muscle. Your brain
It
is a
is.
muscle that needs its, rest as well.
It needs sleep just as much as your body does because it takes that time to kind of process all the input from the day and sort it out.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you sleep.
Mhm.
As my brother and I were talking about it, and we've kind of pictured it as you have these workers that are filing things away. You have all these papers all over the place,
Mhm.
and you kind of like, okay, now that while you're sleeping, it puts everything, which is weird because like
Exactly.
sometimes when I meet a person for the first time, like when I go to bed, it's weird. I can't remember their name or their face. And I always think about like I met a new person tonight and I can't remember them. When I wake up in the morning, I'm like, yeah,
You
of
got
course,
it.
of
Yeah.
course, like so.
You gotta sort out all that overload.
Yeah, so rest everybody
Mhm.
and make sure that you get a good night's sleep. Thank you once again for tuning in, and we will see you soon.
All right, go take a break. Hey guys, this isn't school. Passing notes is always okay here. Go ahead and send us one at tmi.art.productions@gmail.com.
Touch nothing but the lamp.